Well, y'all, I wish I could say I was surprised that we found ourselves here again in 2025, where that vegan teacher is still talking smack about Call Me Chris. I know. Go ahead, be shocked. I'm shocked too, somehow. Even though I shouldn't be, I should be used to this by now. For those of you that aren't super familiar with Call Me Chris or the vegan teacher attacking Call Me Chris, I will give you the TLDR, don't worry. So Call Me Chris is a YouTuber. She was originally a TikToker making very short form content. She's kind of a comedian. That's her whole thing, and she is beloved by many. She has a very big fan base. Well, once upon a time, actually, come to think of it, if you've seen my vegan teacher downfall video, then you do know about this actually. But anyway, once upon a time, Call Me Chris exposed that evil vegan witch, Miss Katie, for using non-vegan markers.
Hey, what's in your hand there, vegan teacher? What is this? Oh no, we're about to expose the vegan teacher.
And the evil witch, Miss Katie, was not happy about this, so she took to the internet to try and attack Call Me Chris by saying that she has better things that she should be focusing on. She should be vegan. She should be promoting vegan on her channels.
But here's the question for me, or that I have for you, Chris. So if you are really determined to point out the type of ink that a teacher is using in order to grade a student, what are you suggesting exactly? That nobody should paint their shirts at all in case the paint is vegan, and you know, no items should be painted anywhere, like, you know, this fabric here.
And of course, Call Me Chris wasn't interested in that. That's not what she stands for. She's a comedian. She's about spreading joy to the world, not sucking joy from the lives of every individual on the planet. That's what she does, Miss Katie. So instead, they had a little bit of a back and forth that didn't last very long because that vegan teacher did something extremely dirty, something unforgivable. She came after Call Me Chris by belittling her sexual assault that she shared with the internet, that, you know, she shared with everybody to, you know, tell her story. And instead of being sympathetic, you know, being like a normal, healthy individual who's not mentally insane, and sympathizing with Call Me Chris and letting her know that what happened to her was horrible and should have never happened, instead, she blames it on her not being vegan. She's like, yeah, well, sorry that happened to you. Don't actually care. If you were vegan, you know, like she really does try to make it seem like she deserved it because she's not vegan, which is just so bizarre. I don't even know how you can conjure that disgusting idea in your mind. But leave it to Miss Katie to do the unthinkable time and time again.
She's talking about something that happened to her a long time ago. An assault, a personal assault, a sexual assault that she suffered through. My question is this: if you don't like the fact that you were pinned down and assaulted, why do you pay people to do this to other females? You make fun of animal defenders who are defending cows, chickens, pigs, lambs, turkeys, all kinds of other females who are abused in the industry.
Now, some of you might be wondering, did she ever go back on this statement? Did she ever apologize? Did she ever say, hey, Call Me Chris, I should have never said that? Well, sorry to shit on your sunshine and rainbows, friend, but this is the reality, and this is the evil, wicked witch of the West we're talking about. No, she did not apologize. In fact, she's doubled down on it multiple times. In fact, in this very video that you're watching right now, we're gonna see it happen again. Oh, and just as a little reminder, she even did this in that recent song that she made about Call Me Chris.
Don't be like this, don't be like Call Me Chris. She pays people maples and with their sperms to a cow. Then she cries and says she's a victim, but somehow still eats cheese, so pays for murder of baby cows even now.
All you can do is shake your head in disbelief, but good God, let's just get into the damn video.
Hello, ChatGPT. Can you please tell me who is kinder, braver, and wiser? Christina Collins, who's also known as Call Me Chris, or that vegan teacher, Miss Katie?
Here are the ways that Miss Katie, that vegan teacher, is kinder, braver, and wiser than Christina Collins. The first way Miss Katie shows her kindness is by using her platform to fight for the most innocent and vulnerable beings on this planet, animals. She educates her audience about the horrifying realities of industries that exploit animals for food, clothing, and entertainment, urging people to choose kindness instead of cruelty. Meanwhile, Christina Collins continues to support and promote these industries, showing that her own personal pleasure matters more to her than the lives of the victims. Instead of using her massive influence to stand up for justice, she collects animals like props, using them in her videos to gain views while continuing to fund the industries that harm them.
This is so disappointing to watch. It's so disappointing for so many reasons that if I went through every single one, this would probably be like an hour-long video. So we're just going to cover the ones that are most important. But first off, let me just say, this has to be the quintessential example of vegan propaganda. Like, this is a textbook definition of vegan propaganda, because she's using stuff that's not even true. But she's claiming that this is GPT saying this, when in reality, she definitely just typed this up herself to not only glaze herself, but also to make KallMeKris look like a piece of shit, which she's not, obviously. And I'm not even opposed to the idea that this is defamation, this is slander, because she is blatantly saying false things about KallMeKris, creating this false narrative that just literally just not true. And she's trying to pass it off as fact, as ChatGPT said this. No, ChatGPT did not. You wrote this yourself. And I know she did this for obvious reasons, but this isn't the first time she's also used this voice. This is her Black Vegan Jesus. Yeah, I have a video about that on my main channel, but don't worry, it will be here on the Omni King very soon. For those of you who have never seen it, don't worry, I'll post it in the next few days. But yeah, she had a segment where she claims that Black Vegan Jesus wants everybody to be vegan, right? And these are his words, right? This is Black Vegan Jesus telling everybody to be vegan. And it was all a bunch of nonsense, just ChatGPT garbage, where she wrote the prompt, basically told ChatGPT exactly what to say. And this is no different. And that's going to be the case for the entirety of this video. But it's pretty disgusting, some of the things that she had ChatGPT say. It's things that it would never say in a billion years. Do you guys think that ChatGPT would belittle somebody's assault? Me neither, but that's what she's trying to make people believe.
Miss Katie stands for true kindness, one that demands real change, not just superficial gestures. The second way Miss Katie is braver is in her willingness to speak out against the sexual exploitation of animals, especially the systemic rape of mother cows in the dairy industry. Female cows are forcibly impregnated, only to have their babies stolen so humans can drink the milk meant for them. This is sexual violence, plain and simple. Miss Katie has made it clear that no female of any species deserves this abuse. Christina Collins, on the other hand, has publicly shared that she was assaulted, yet she turns a blind eye when the exact same thing happens to other females. If she truly understood the pain of being violated, she would speak out against it happening to innocent animals, but instead, she continues to support and normalize their suffering.
It's just so crazy. No matter how hot of a take, no matter how, publicly scrutinized they are for saying these things, they never take it back. They never apologize. They never realize that what they said is grossly inaccurate, untrue, and just wrong. Just fundamentally, morally, it's disgusting. It's vile. It's sickening. And here she is, doubling it down again. Now, this is not unlike when she doubled down about what she said about that infant, which I won't get into that, but she doubled down on that recently too, and she doubled down on what she said about Chris, about her not having the right to complain or to be saddened by her own sexual assault because she quote-unquote pays for other people to do this to other females in the meat and dairy industry, which is just vile. Now, what she's talking about is the act of artificial insemination, the forcible impregnation. I'm not going to go into details on exactly how artificial insemination works, but it's not the same thing as what she is describing. RAPE, which is a word I can't say on YouTube unless I want this video buried and demonetized, so I won't say it. But you understand what the picture I'm drawing. I've already ranted pretty hard about what she said about KallMeKris originally in that clip that I showed you guys earlier, so I'm not gonna go super deep into this, but it's just so deeply disappointing and it's bothersome that even now, after KallMeKris has cut off any communication with that vegan teacher, no more back and forth, Oompaville, her now husband, does still kind of entertain her a little bit every now and then, but she doesn't. She doesn't want to have anything to do with this woman, and rightfully so. She's an absolute evil, senile lunatic, attacking the most vulnerable things that KallMeKris could possibly offer, and that's just so horrible. It's just so bad, and it's just so bizarre as well that she's using ChatGPT as the conduit for this. Again, ChatGPT in quotations, this is her writing. Again, ChatGPT would never ever say these things. Like, at least if you're gonna try to gaslight people into believing that ChatGPT is on your side and thinks you're some kind of awesome person, at least try to make it realistic, because this wasn't even close. Not a single person watching this would be the slightest bit convinced. Your dislike ratio on this video is 75%. And that 25% that quote unquote liked it is probably you on 50 other accounts, because there's 52 likes, and I guarantee you not a single sentient person besides one of your clones hit like on this video. And for those of you that are a sentient, sapient human being with a functioning brain, shame on you.
Her lack of empathy for these victims is staggering. The third way Miss Katie is wiser is in her deep understanding of what veganism actually is. Veganism isn't just about eating plants. It's a justice movement that states humans must live without exploiting animals, because animals, like children, are not objects to be bought, sold, commodified, utilized, sexually assaulted, or exploited in any way. Miss Katie teaches this message with clarity and passion, helping people understand that true justice means leaving animals out of our meals, clothes, and entertainment. Christina Collins, however, continues to treat animals as mere accessories for her brand, collecting them for content while doing nothing to stop their suffering on a larger scale. The fourth way Miss Katie shows her wisdom is in her refusal to turn a blind eye to the realities of animal abuse. She doesn't just avoid animal products, she actively exposes the industries that produce them. She speaks out against the fur and leather industries, where animals are electrocuted, skinned alive, and killed for fashion. She educates people about the brutal egg industry, where male chicks are shredded alive and female hens are forced to lay eggs until their bodies give out.
Man, he's still going? Jesus Christ. Wow. Well, anyway, well, I guess that is Jesus. It's Black Jesus we're talking about here. But, yeah, she's still going. Yeah, I don't... ChatGPT, sometimes they give you some pretty long responses. Wasn't the question just like, why is, like who's better, like KallMeKris or that vegan teacher? And he just goes on this insane rant about like veganism. Like, that is just so crazy to me that she thinks this is going to convince anybody. Like, I don't know if she's actually that delulu or what is going on in that brain up there, if there's still one present. Because I think the vegan deterioration has gotten to her for sure. Now, let's just talk about this whole commodifying animals and blah, 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 yada, yada, vegan propaganda. You know the drill. I've said this before, that even as a vegan, you have not stopped exploiting animals. You haven't, because the fact of the matter is, everything you eat comes at the expense of animals, no matter how you look at it, no matter how you want to try to justify. Because get this, people, all these vegans like this, these activists, these annoying ones, try to justify their eating fruits and vegetables and whatever crops as, you know, it's just incidental deaths when there's millions upon millions of rodents and etc. that die for this, you know, because the fact of the matter is those crops need to be protected, and pesticides are used to make sure that, you know, rats aren't eating your food, bugs aren't eating your food, etc. And then also you have like manure that's used to fertilize from animals, cows. Without that stuff, you don't get your crops. And then it goes even deeper than this. And this is something that people always forget about. The vegans care about sentient beings. That's always their argument. It's you should not kill sentient beings, period. You shouldn't exploit sentient beings, no way, shape, or form. Well, guess what? Bees are sentient. Yes, bees are sentient. Look it up. It's true. And what about bees is important here is that they are exploited to a great degree, according to vegan logic anyway. Billions of bees are imported every single year to like California and some other places in the United States, and they are used to pollinate for things like avocados, almonds, and many other fruits, nuts, stuff like that. The bees are used for that, and in this process, billions upon billions of bees die from it. Not directly as like them being harmed, but they just die, and they are exploited. You are profiting off the slave labor of these bees, which the vegans are once again against that. No sort of animal exploitation at all, no sort of labor, no benefits from animals at all is what they stand by. Yet they don't live by that. That's what they say, but they don't live by it, because if they did, they wouldn't be eating 90% of the foods that keep them alive today, because 90% of the foods that they eat, if not even more, come at the expense of animals. They all do, and that's just a fact. And ChatGPT should know that. ChatGPT shouldn't be lying to you. Absolutely not. KallMeKris is always going to be a better person than you. You are an evil fucking witch. And one great thing about KallMeKris is her whole thing is about spreading joy, laughter, fun, things that make people happy. And yours is all hate, anger, disgust, and misinformation. But anyway, there's more to this video, but I'm about tired of it. So that's it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you did enjoy, feel free to like and subscribe button. Till next time.